Controlling your inner conversations using third-person self-talk not only works by shifting negative self-talk, but it also has the ability to transform your subconscious beliefs, self-imposed limits, and anxiety levels. You want to know how? Well, you're going to want to stick around. Welcome, Warriors! This is your man Johnny F here with nextlevelwarrior.com, and this channel is all about providing you with the knowledge and tools to build your warrior within to become your next level self. And that is exactly what we were doing here with third-person self-talk to change our inner conversations. It's weird to think back as to how out of control my negative self-talk used to be. It was just a handful of years ago before I started to consciously incorporate intentional self-talk practices into my life. And here's the thing most of us don't actually realize: how bad it is until that awareness finally comes through. And I'll tell you that when you begin to work on this and notice the progress, it will become so worth it. The personal shift you experience, the changes to your thoughts, your ability to manage stress and anxiety, along with the shift in your attitude to life. This is one of the very first things that I bring to the attention of my coaching clients, and I want to be clear as day with all of you warriors out there. If you don't start prioritizing attention towards your self-talk, then you're ultimately attaching a huge anchor to yourself, slowing down your personal growth. You're refusing one of the fastest ways to manage stress and anxiety levels. I know it may seem weird to refer to yourself as anything other than I or me, whether in your head or out loud, but by speaking to yourself in the third person using non-personal pronouns such as you, he, she, your own first name, or even your own last name, something really profound happens. Let's look at this from a context of being in a difficult state of mind. Let's say that you're reflecting on a painful experience in your life, such as a trauma or something that triggered you in the moment to those past trauma emotions. If you guide your self-talk in those moments from a third-person perspective, it actually helps you to stay very calm and non-scattered with little to no effort. The simplicity of saying something acknowledging to yourself in the third person, such as,
John, I know that this brings up really painful feelings.
Or,
that must have been a really challenging time that you experienced out there.
This type of conversation in the third person helps to center you and break that looping cycle, but there's far more to it. This third-person self-talk research published in the last 4 years will be linked in the description, but it's not the only one of its kind. There have been a wide range of these studies which have found that third-person self-talk improves your level of self-control and emotional regulation by gently creating self-distancing and reducing self-centered favoritism. Specifically, during experiments with electronic devices monitoring emotional brain activity, the participants' emotional distress actually decreased within 1 second. It happened as soon as they began to refer to themselves in the third person. Now, while the researchers don't actually know why this happens, it's clear that third-person self-talk in this emotional self-regulating category is amazing to say the least. Something that I feel should be in every school's program to help children with navigating stressful experiences in the moment. Do you agree? Then take a moment to hit that like button, and if you're feeling more generous, then voice your thumbs up in the comments. So why does third-person self-talk work so instantly? Director of the Michigan State University Clinical Physical Director of the Michigan State University Director of the Physical The Director of the Michigan State University Clinical Physi Director of the Psychophysical Michigan State University Clinical Psychophysiology Lab Jason Moser states. The director of the Michigan State University Clinical Psychophysiology Lab, Jason Moser, states, essentially, we think that referring to yourself in the third person leads people to think about themselves more similar to how we think about others. And you can see the evidence for this in the brain. That helps people to gain a tiny bit of psychological distance from their experiences, which can often be useful for regulating emotions. Simply put, if you can create this level of distance between yourself and a painful experience such as a trauma, this can help us to greatly move from being in a difficult state of being stuck when we are triggered into these emotional states. And better yet, if you're looking to transform your view of a past trauma so it's not something that continues to hold you back in your present day life, then you can use this third person tool to actually reframe these painful parts of your past. This is a tactic that I've personally used numerous times in the past few years to reframe my own past so that it doesn't hold me back as much, helping to shift the victimhood perception of why I used to think it happened to me instead of thinking towards what I believe now as to why it actually happened for me. You see, when you change your view of the past, you change your view of the present. And this is something that I highly suggest using a journal for. It's one of the many ways you can utilize a journal to create your next level self. So what are the other huge reasons to speak to yourself in the third person? This is where speaking to yourself in the third person comes in as a very powerful tool to shift your negative self-talk from that of an inner critic to that of an inner coach. One where you can break the negative feedback loop from putting yourself down towards actually guiding yourself in a better direction. This makes an enormous difference with improving your inner voice, helping to change your behaviors, shifting your inner belief systems, increasing self-love, self-worth, confidence levels, goal achievement abilities. It can literally transform your life. It will transform your life. But let's step back here for a moment, because these things aren't always sunshine and rainbows. Many of us still suffer with negative self-talk and a serious inner critic that we are definitely aware of. And if you feel your self-talk leading more into the negative side, and you want to either assess it or need a quick step guide on how to take action on that now, then you're going to want to click on this video right here to find out more about it. These are the same steps that took me years to figure out, which I share in depth with my coaching clients. Of course, if you need additional support, then join me in the other Warriors on the Next Level Warriors Facebook group, linked in the description. Support is the key to getting where you want to go faster. So I'll see you in that next video.